holy. What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, drawing and talking with a ballpoint pen. So I'm going to be talking about X-Men 97 and give you guys my critique on what I think about the trailer to the series that's going to be coming out on Disney Plus. Right, so I actually had to go back and to see, how, the characters look back in the days when I was a little kid in comparison to what they're about to put out on Disney Plus. And honestly speaking, I'm gonna be honest, right? There are pros and cons. It's not terrible at all. So I just want to let everybody know it is not terrible. Okay, it's not terrible. It's not too bad. But at the same time, I gotta be real with you, and it just looks like a lower, cheaper version of the original that came out back in the 90s, in my opinion. And let me tell you why. One of the reasons is that it's missing lights and shadows. You see, the original one that came out when I was a little kid, they actually had a good amount of lights and shadows. So of course it's really hard, obviously, to do like Jim Lee or any of the major comic book artists out there to try to replicate their work onto animation. That is extremely difficult. Okay, so I understand that. However, this is what I love about the 90s. Okay, I love the fact that they was able to do the best they can. And there are certain still frames that looks almost identical to the actual comic book, right? So they had a lot of detail in certain frames. Now, obviously, with its close up, even anime, Japanese anime, they do the same thing. Whenever they go close up, you're able to capture a lot of information because there's not a lot of things going on. But when things are in motion, well, that becomes extremely difficult. So we also got to take that into consideration. However, again, from an artist perspective, my biggest issue is that it looks like it's trying to be it's like a downgraded version, and that's why I'm really disappointed. I was hoping for it to be an upgraded version. Like, how can, with the technology that we have now, how are you able to take that to the next level with the comic book style, rather than a downgraded version trying to replicate something that came out in the 90s? And that's sad how, the only thing I could give credit for, which is not really credit, honestly, is the whole aspect of the new era with technology. So now the coloring and all that is a lot more updated, and it's a lot more, it's digitized, right? So they call it digital drawing, digital coloring, as opposed to back in the days, they actually had to go in there and actually put in the layers. So that's why it looked very outdated, because they didn't have the technology like what we have now. So it was a huge difference. And honestly, I like the old school technology, the way it was, because it just gave that gritty feel. And now it just looks so, it still could have looked good. The issue is just more of the simple fact that it just looks incomplete. It looks incomplete, in my opinion. It just doesn't have that, wow, this is sick. It just looks more like, they look like action figures, and they're just missing the lights and shadows. Now, I remember, if you guys haven't remembered this, but I remember watching Wolverine the X-Men. I think they did a better job than this, in my opinion, because at least they were trying to make it look more modern in the era, and they had the lights and shadows. Here, just don't have the lights and shadows. It's like, you guys are Disney. I get it. A lot of people are like, well, Disney budget is low now, but it's like, come on, it's not that low. Okay, you can definitely put some lights and shadows and have, hire someone that will be in charge of doing that aspect of it. Let me switch my pen, because this pen is way too inky, this ballpoint pen, and then I do not want it to be crazy inky to the point where everything is going to splatter everywhere. So switch it up. This one should be better. But yeah, Oh, this is the dry one. Okay, but this is better. It's more tameable. That's one of the issues that I'm noticing already off the bat. Now, here's the thing I also want to say as well. Like, this is not the first video of this channel. I do have a lot of videos that I scheduled ahead of time, but when I saw this trailer, it compelled me to just be like, you know what, let me just make this video, edit it, and then just put it out there for you guys. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you guys, like this video. It's really helpful, and hit the notification so you can stay up to date on future videos of this stylo convo, which is drawing and having a conversation, right? So drawing with a ballpoint pen and having a conversation on pop culture and other things, and showing you how to draw as well. So all that, bit of a mouthful, but that is part of the CTA, so to speak. All right, so right here I'm just drawing Cyclops. I am looking at reference, so sometimes I don't look at reference and I draw it in my head. This time I'm actually looking at reference. And yeah, we got to get back into the discussion. All right. So yeah, I just personally, I'm not so excited of what I am seeing. I'm being honest with you. I'm not so excited. Again, I get it. I might not even be their demographic, because I'm going from an old school, watching it like back in the days compared to what they're putting out now. And that's one thing I am, like, a lot of people, I guess, even with myself, honestly, how a lot of people like anime more than ever because of the simple fact that Americans we're just not putting out new stuff, like we're still in this weird nostalgia, so we got to get out that nostalgia stuff, man. Like, it's just so boring to just constantly just stick to what was great back then. Like, you cannot catch lightning in a bottle more than once. It's just not gonna happen. It was good for its time. Now this is just it's a different era. Like, find something new. That's why people like The Boys so much, because it's something that's new. I get it. Like, the original one came out, like the comic came out a long time, but as far as like mainstream wise, as far as IP is concerned, that's brand new. Like, that's a new thing. No one knew about The Boys except for the people who was like really into the comic book. So that's a whole different beast, And yeah, like, I get it. They got the rights to Century Fox, so now they gotta do this and do that. And I'm just like, just not a fan of all this, man. Like, if you're gonna bring back this old IP, at least do its justice and like put more investments into it. It seems a little low budget, and it's not even on purpose low budget, because at least the one back in the days, they actually had a good amount of lights and shadows. Google Sinister in X-Men animated series. Google him. Google Juggernaut. Google Magneto, how they used to look. And look at how Magneto looked in that end trailer. And I get, but he's not wearing the suit. That's not the point. Even if you see him with the suit, he's not gonna look as good. I'm trying to tell you. He's just not. You could just tell, like, it just has an unfinished look to it. It just looks unfinished, in my opinion. It could have, put it more into the cook. It's almost like you're cooking food. It just seems like it's just not ready yet. But then it's like, okay, let's put it out. It doesn't matter. It's not ready, but who cares? They're gonna like it anyway. It's like fast food. It just come off like it's fast food, in my opinion. Like, it's not ready yet. I don't care. People love this stuff. They're gonna eat it up anyway. That's what it's coming off to me. Because there's no way that the old I messed up his hair. I gotta fix all that. It is what it is. I'm talking and drawing, so it just got me like a little triggered. Let me not even use that word. I'm not triggered. It's just more like, man, I had like expectations, I expected it to be something good. Like, let me give you a good example. How something could be upgradable, right? Upgrade based upon the new modern time. Take Final Fantasy with Cloud. Look at the original one. It came out in the 90s. Right? Look at how that looked. And look at the remake. Oh my gosh. Night and day. Night and day. It looked amazing. Upgrade, to say the least. Huge upgrade, to say the least, right? Like, upgrade is just doing this, like, this justice. It was a full-blown masterpiece. Full-blown. Now, they wasn't looking at the original like, oh, we're going to try to replicate this. No, they're like, we're going to do it better. We got the technology. We got the artist. We got many artists. We can make this look amazing, right? We can make it look sick. And that's what they did. Instead of trying to replicate something, they made it better. They should have done that here. Instead of trying to replicate something, they should have made it better. I know you're like, well, how can they make it better? Easily. You got a team of artists. You got a lot of people on board. A lot of people. You could definitely make something happen. A lot of different artists out there. A lot of talented artists out there. You know? And the technology as well. Increase your budget. I mean, we're talking about Disney here. This isn't even some of the stuff you could see on YouTube with lower budgets could make something better than this. Maybe not in a long duration just because it's a lower budget, but they could do something like a short film, which is like 5 minutes long, and it will look almost identical or even better than the original. And again, that's one of my main gripes. It just looks unfinished. Like this illustration I'm working on right now of Draw Cyclops. It just has this unfinished look. And then you can't use it as a cop-out by saying, well, you know, the 90s had an unfinished look. No, it didn't. It looked good for its time. This is a cop-out for all those people out there. I mean, again, I'm not here to appeal to everybody. This is my opinion, all right? I'm not here to pander or none of that. This is just how I personally feel. You know, it just doesn't have that oomph to it. It's missing certain elements that's like, which specifically, let me be specific because I don't want to talk in general. Specifically, the self-shading. What happened to the self-shading here? There's absolutely no self-shading. None. Are you kidding me? In this day and age, there's no self-shading? Oh, but the animation budget. Well, look at anime. Some of them don't have a high budget, but they have self-shading. Like, self-shading should be mandatory. Like, I'm not saying it needs to have a whole lot of lights and shadows. Definitely not. Definitely not. Because if you look at the 90s, it didn't have a whole lot of lights and shadows unless they get close up. Unless they get close up. Other than that, no. They don't. But it was good enough. It was good enough to be passable. I'm not seeing that here. I'm just not seeing that here. You know? Wolverine looks fine. The characters look good. I do miss Storm's, 90s hairstyle with the... I get it, it's just past its price. I get it. It needs to be modern, but I'm not a fan of Storm's like mohawk then. Like, she got the mohawk. I don't really like it like that. It still didn't grow to me. But that's nitpicking. That's not really something I'm like, oh, I can't believe. Like, I'm not gonna like fight to my grave of her hairstyle. Like, that's fine. No big deal. I like that Rogue still looks the same. You know, which is funny to me because it's like Rogue still has the 90s hairstyle, but Storm don't. Okay, I guess a little inconsistent. Again, nitpicking, not the end of the world, not a big deal. It's okay. I'm not mad about that. All right, I'm not mad about that. But at the same time, it's like, what's going on here, man? The characters' looks are fine. Again, if they would have had more, if they would have had like self-shading, that would have made it pop more. It needs self-shading. That's one of the biggest issues. It needs self-shading. Just quickly doing this part here. Got the lasers. Sing, sing, sing. Another one. Okay, let me stop. I had coffee, so. and then sagging down. Okay, I'm getting too excited. Calm down, calm your nerves. All right, I'm gonna continue just working on making it darker now. I could have done better with this portion. It is what it is. I mean, I'm talking while drawing, right? That's the whole point of the channel. We having a conversation while making these sketches / illustrations. Oh, bars. Anyway, all right. All right, let me continue working on this Cyclops. I was gonna put Wolverine. I'm like, I don't got time for that, man. I don't got time. If you guys want me to do stuff like that, let me know down below. All right. For now, working on Cyclops. Now, let me tell you the good news. All right. I'm not like a negative Nancy. Okay. I'm not a negative Karen. The good news that I will tell you is I'm glad. Number one, I'm glad that they made Cyclops the leader again. And that was one of my biggest issues with Wolverine the X-Men, is because at that time Hugh Jackman was like the #1 star of, you know, Fox X-Men in terms of the live action. So they continue with that. And I believe also I heard in the comics that they was making, you know, Wolverine literally the leader because of the fact that Hugh Jackman was widely successful as Wolverine, right? And I'm glad that they went back into the whole like Cyclops, you know, he is the leader. He always been the leader. And I'm glad that they brought him into him being the leader and not Wolverine. I'm like, oh, not another Wolverine and X-Men again. I'm glad that they did that. The whole thing with Magneto saying he's taking over. Honestly speaking, I'm gonna be real with you. I know for you Magneto fans out there, I don't care about Magneto. He's an amazing character. His story arc is amazing. Everything about him is amazing. It sounds like I'm one of those, like, it's not you, it's me. Like I'm breaking up with somebody. Like, you're amazing, but every time when someone says something that they say but, it's like it completely discredits everything. And it is true. And because of the fact that it's been done too much, man. It's like Tekka with a Hachi. It's like, how many times are you gonna keep bringing him back? And then finally, he's done. Like, he's gone, finally. Like, yo, build up other villains. You got Sinister. You don't need to bring Apocalypse. Apocalypse is always one of those later on villains, right? He's like the head honcho villain. I'm getting so passionate that I'm like forgetting that I'm drawing something right now. But yeah, like, I'm tired of Magneto. I'm like, God dang, I'm tired of it, man. Oh, man. I'm just, the way he just, he's a great villain, but it's just been overdone. That's my problem. He's overdone. You know, it's just like me slamming this dang thing, then the light fell on the light fell down. Like, that never happened before. Like, when you watch like the videos that's coming out, which ironically those are older videos because I have them scheduled, that never happened. What is that, like a omen or something where this show is gonna be terrible? because that happened. I don't know. Maybe it's the coffee. But anyway, yeah, like Magneto's been done too much. He's been done too much. There needs to be somebody else. All right? Sinister. They never, ever, even in live action, they never brought up Sinister. Maybe a cameo of them talking about him, but they never had him. I'm tired of Magneto. It could have been someone else. It's almost as if they're holding like people's hands, like, oh, you know, the main villain is Magneto, so we gotta show him to lure people in first because, you know, everybody knows Magneto. He's been done too much. You know what would have been cool? If Magneto became a good guy. Because sometimes it's like that in some certain story arcs where, yeah, he's a good guy temporarily. Because an enemy of an enemy is my friend. Like, yeah, we got a bigger boss to deal with. And we can't keep fighting. We got to work together temporarily. And then you got Quicksilver. You got Scarlet Witch, right? All that stuff. It's going to take me a while to draw this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, the whole thing with the way they set it up and Magneto got long hair now. Okay. I think it would have been more impactful if he showed up with his suit, you know, with his super villain outfit, rather than him just wearing regular clothes. I get it. They're always wearing regular clothes at the scene, but he just would have looked more menacing if he had his outfit. And I want to see how they're going to make him, because this is their version, right? This is their version trying to make it like it was the 90s. So they got to make him brolic. You got to make him brolic, even though it doesn't make any sense. But, I mean, comic book wise, aesthetically, everybody's on PEDs out there, you know what I mean? So it's like, make this dude on TRT, because that was before TRT even was even a thought, right? I don't think it even existed around that time. So maybe he was the one who created TRT, because this dude was yoked out of his mind. Like, this dude didn't even make sense how brolic he was, and he was old. You know, dude was an old man. So that's that. I'm actually looking at the way they look here. Actually, no. Actually, is this the 90? Oh no, this is not 97. This is like, okay. This is. I'm looking at the image, but it's not actually what we saw in the trailer. I was about to say this looks good, but no. You know why it looks good? Because that's self-shaded. Yeah, self-shaded, which is lack. It's like it's non-existent here. So now it looks. Look, if they have self-shaded, which is lights and shadows, if they have that in there, then we're good to go. That's it. That's all it needs. It needs self-shaded. That's all it needs. See that? See what I'm doing here? I'm adding shadows. Now, again, I'm not talking as if, I could do the animation better. No, I'm not one of those people, okay? I don't like people like that. When they talk like, I could do it better, and then it's like when you put them, you know, into the lake of fire, they're like, oh no, I can't do it, man. I'll be honest with you, I cannot do animation on that level. Hell no. But as a consumer, I'm just letting you know it could have been better. But I'm not talking as if I could do it better. See, I could make this shadows and all this stuff, but it's a difference between a still frame in which you have more creative liberties to make it look realistic. You have more control, right? Compared to a video. Think about those IG girls out there when they always manipulate people's eyes with all these still frame selfies that they take. But then we actually see them in real life through video, it's like a whole different person. Why? Because you have more control over taking a picture or a stilled image compared to something that's in motion. Something that is in motion is harder to captivate and to be consistent with. So life imitating art or art imitating life, tomato. Whole different ballgame. Now the videos that's going to be coming out is a lot of how-to videos, okay? So I just want to address that because again, this is a new channel, so the direction could go anywhere and it's up to you. Only you can prevent forest fire. I'm being serious. Like, It's up to you. If not, I already got videos, lined up talking about other topics. Talk about bad luck. The pen fell down, my pen wasn't working. You gotta love moments in life. I turn a negative into a positive. You gotta love moments in life where things are just out of your control and you just gotta laugh it off. It's like, just laugh. It's funny. But you know what's not funny? If the series fails. If this series doesn't do well, it ain't gonna be funny. I don't even think Disney has faith in this. Because if they did, they would have put more work into the budget. I just think they're just like, you know what? Yeah, just give it to these older cats who keep demanding this X-Men stuff. Just make it fast. Give them crap. They'll love it just because of nostalgia. Like, I'm being real with you. I'm getting tired of nostalgia bait. Tired of it. It's okay when you sprinkle it in here and there, That's fine, It's like, okay, cool, nostalgia. Okay, a little bit of nostalgia doesn't hurt. Oh, that's cool. They came back. Oh, that's cool. They're trying to do this again. Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. But to constantly hit you with nostalgia it gets a little embarrassing because at times it's cool at the moment, but when you look back, it's like, you do understand that Father Time is unforgiving, right? These people are not going to look the same compared to their heydays. I didn't watch this, but I seen it on Netflix as I was scrolling. They had the Power Rangers reunite, and it's like all the old Power Rangers. It's like, what is going on here? These dudes got kids. These dudes are not even, they're beyond grown. Like, they got grays. What is happening here? There was kids in the 90s. Stop. I get it, get your money, but it's just like, tired of nostalgia. You get tired of it. It gives you know what it is? For me, personally, it gives me a reminder that Father Time always wins. Always wins, right? So, as I was a little kid watching them, now I'm a grown man, and then I'm seeing them being old, and it's just a reminder to me. That's why I don't like watching nostalgia. It's just a reminder to me that they got old, and I'm gonna get old too. You can't replicate how you felt as a kid. I don't understand why people don't understand that. You're chasing the dragon. It just doesn't exist. You can't replicate how you felt when you was a kid. It's just not the same. Even for me as an artist, like, my mindset when I was drawing as a kid is completely different from me drawing now. I'm being honest. Like, the way I was thinking, I was so young and innocent. Everything was grandiose. Everything was hyper detailed. Everything was constantly flashy. Not anatomically correct at all, but it didn't matter because I was having a good time. It's like I loved it. Yeah. Then when you get older, you got bills to pay. And then later on, you got the kids. So now things before that was all happy and whatever is now become a bit more gloomy, a bit more practical, rather than just going into the heavy amounts of enthusiasm. It just became more dull, honestly. And I think that's the thing people are afraid of. It's like, I don't want this to be dull. I want to be a kid again. And this is why people are excited for this stuff here with this X-Men. It's like, oh, I just want to feel how I felt when I was younger. Newsflash. You will never feel that sensation when you was younger. That will never happen again. I'm sorry to sound like I'm some sort of internet black pill, but I'm being real with you. It's almost like your first time doing something that was fun, like going on a roller coaster or eating this food that you tried out for the first time. Of course, your first experiences are amazing. Whether you had high or low expectations, it satisfied your needs, right? And you were so happy. And then over time, what happens? It goes away. It's not the same. It's no different from someone who's making a lot of money, going from rags to riches. At first, you're like, wow, look at all this money. Lamborghini, a lot of women, all this stuff. Give it 5 months. Give it a year. It gets boring. It gets boring. Like anything in life. Like listening to music as well. At first it's like, yo, that music is a banger. You will play that music 5 million times while you're working out, or you just want to listen to it so you can feel good. Over time, you get tired of that music. No matter how great it is or was, now you're like, yeah, I don't want to listen to it. It's just whack. Now you want to move on to something else. That's how it is in life. That's how it is. So I think at first, people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they really did it. Yeah, it's bringing me back to how I was as a kid. Once you watch it, number one, you're going to be one of those people who's going to make videos or watch people who make videos have the same opinion as you, saying, oh, this is not as good as it was. And it's going to be a direct comparison. And that's one of the biggest issues too. They should have enhanced it rather than, making this a downgraded version, because people are going to compare. That's just human nature. People love to compare, right? And they got to compare. They're going to be like, oh, this is not as good. This is not as good. But to me, it doesn't look like it's any better. It don't look better other than the fact that it's newer technology. So with newer technology, of course, this is a digital coloring, right? So of course, visually, it's going to look more modern just because technology by default. There's no way you could there's no way they could make a replica off of the old. It's just too much labor. But they have to go in there with the layers and add the color. That's why the coloring at the time looks so much better to me back then compared to now, unless you compare it to like the modern anime. Like, man, the anime stuff is fire. Japanese anime now is fire. Because they're able to, the difference is that with the Western world, or should I say the Eastern, right? With Japanese, they're able to take the technology, take the resources, and then just be like, yo, we gotta take this to the next level. Here it seems more like, we're using the resources to, cut corners. That's a whole different beast. It's not the same. Using something to cut corners is not the same as using it to its full potential. Anime, they use it to their full potential. And that's why people, real recognize real. Even if you're not an artist, there's something in your subconscious when you look at stuff and you're like, wow. Right? Like looking at Avatar 2. Like visually, you're like, wow. That's all you can say, like, wow. Like, you don't even care about the story. It's literally like a roller coaster. James Cameron knew that. That's why majority of the scenes, it's like, not even like that much dialogue at certain parts of it, making a movie extra long. Because it feels like an immersive experience. They're flexing on you. You're just watching it. It's like, yo, it's so good that visually that anything they say is like, whatever. I just like what I'm seeing. Which obviously is a whole different experience if you are, if you're watching it in your home compared to watching it, with 3D glasses in the movie theater. I watched it in 3D. I don't normally watch stuff in 3D, but it was just so good looking that I was like, you know what? Let me just do that. But it's a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast. And I knew in my mind, I knew they wasn't going to make a replica. You cannot make a replica. You cannot strike lightning twice inside of a bottle. There's no way you can make a replica. But it's not about making a replica. It's about enhancing what you already have as far as technology and make it your own. Like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy wasn't trying to make a replica when they did the remake. It wasn't trying to make a replica. They just utilized the technology and made it look better. And I was hoping it was going to move towards that direction rather than having a lower end version of the 90s of X-Men. That's my gripe. Now again, can I make my own version? No. I'm not, at the same time, I'm not out here saying, because there's people out there who's like, well, I can make my own version. No, you can't. Try doing it by yourself. Trust me, I've seen so many YouTubers who are extremely talented that they do things by themselves. But eventually you're gonna burn out. You can, like, I know it sounds good on paper. Like, if you don't like what you see, do it yourself. Yeah, by all means, go for it. But then you gotta realize how hard it is and why you need a team. No pun intended with X-Men. But you need a team. You can't do it by yourself. You cannot. And then unfortunately, people don't have the patience, so they might even unsubscribe, because it's like, oh, this person takes a year before they come out with a new video. You understand they're doing everything frame by frame by themselves. Then they have to either hire a voice actor or they do can't even talk right now. Speaking of voice actor, I can't even talk with my voice. Either they hire a voice actor or they do the voices themselves. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. All right, it's a lot of work. So we have to bear that in mind. Take that into consideration. I'm not saying you can't, but you gotta hire people. You cannot be the only animator. You gotta hire people. I could do stop animation, but I can't do flash animation. All right, flash animation is a different level. It's a different beast. Okay, like that's real passionate right there. Imagine me drawing this illustration that you guys are seeing here. Imagine me doing this frame by frame by frame by frame by frame, and literally something that could be 5 seconds long could be like 100 frames. 100 frames. I believe with Avatar, The Last Airbender, they said there was like thousands of frames just for one episode. And there was times where people was complaining like, oh man, they taking forever before they come out with an episode. Why they taking so dang long? It's taking so long. I was like, you don't understand. You coming from ignorance. You gotta school these people. Like, imagine you gotta draw something 1,000 times for one episode. That's beyond passion. Cause I could tell you this right now. I could have a passion for what I do, right? I love to draw, right? But if you put me in a position where you telling me you gotta draw this 1,000 times for one episode, and then let alone the entire season, and that's one season, and then you got 2 more seasons. So on average with America, it's always like around 3 seasons usually, unless it's like really, really good, then it goes beyond 3. That's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't care about passion at that point. That takes a different type of breed. People don't understand that. Just like basketball with Kobe Bryant when he was alive, RIP to him. Now he would just do things in a very method way. Waking up early in the morning, like around 3 a.m. Do this, do like things that is considered insane. That's beyond passion. Now you're just insane, but that's what it takes to get on that level. It's one thing to draw something and you're done. It's another thing to draw it 1,000 times. And even when people talk crap about what you're producing, they're still going at it. That's a different type. That's a different breed right there, man. That's a different breed. So I still give props to the animators. You know, I still give props to the animators. It's just my opinion on I wish they would have pushed it further. That's all. And who knows? Because at the end of the day, if the story is good, guess what? That's like the biggest, most important component to it. If the story is good, guess what? Majority of people are going to ignore the visuals. Because the bulk of what you create is the story. It's the story. So let's hope that they're going to make a banging story. Because what's sad to me, that I've noticed sometimes too, that the visuals could look amazing, but the story is whack. I've seen that many times. It's a huge disappointment. It's like a hot person, and you realize their personality sucks. You're like, oh. That's a huge disappointment. Like, dang, it has so much potential. Seeing like an amazing trailer, and it's one of my friends told me, it was like he doesn't even watch trailers. I'm gonna start doing that as well. But then I can't help myself, because part of the channel is to see whatever's out there now and then, you know, give my opinion. So I can't even do that. But if I was a consumer, I wouldn't even watch trailers, because trailers can literally reveal too much. It could reveal too much. In my opinion, it could reveal too much. And sometimes, just like when I watched the Blue Eye Samurai, I've heard people talking about it, but I never seen the trailer, which I was happy about, because the show is really good. I heard it was good. I didn't see the trailer, so I came into it, you know, with a blind eye, which made the experience so much better. That's why people get so mad about spoilers. Oh, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Because we want to go through that experience. We don't want to hear about what already happens. That destroys the fun. So that's the same thing with trailers, which I get it. I fully get it now. Why my friend was like, no, I don't watch trailers anymore. Let's see here. But let's talk about the other characters. I didn't really see Jean as much. They said that she's a mother. I didn't really pay attention to her. I didn't really notice her. I saw Jubilee, you know, 4th of July Asian girl. She's cool. She pretty much look the same. Again, it looks like their structure just seems a bit lacking compared to their anatomy structure in the original series. But I have to say, the anatomy structure does look closer to the original series compared to Wolverine and X-Men. Because Wolverine and X-Men wasn't trying to make it look like the structure of the 90s. While this one, they are, in a way. It's not there, but it's okay. It's close enough, right? It's alright. Yeah, so the character design of her is fine. Like I said, a lot of their character designs are fine. Wolverine is Wolverine. Like, come on. Like, if they mess that up, everybody's going to get pissed off, because people love Wolverine. Cyclops is Cyclops. I'm glad that they gave him the hair on the top, like what I'm drawing here, rather than like, remember how there was a point where they gave him the scuba diver look? I honestly was never a fan of that. I know some people like that look. I never liked that look. Looking like he's a scuba diver. That's when they was updating their aesthetics, how they looked in X-Men. Never liked the scuba diver. In fact, it was so bad. I don't even think, correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I don't even think that was ever animated. Maybe if they had like, maybe it was like some sort of like straight to DVD, but I don't think I've ever seen that scuba diver look ever animated. Oh yeah, they did with the they had the Japanese, the anime version of X-Men, which that looked really good. It was good for its time. But yeah, I remember that. They had it briefly. Just like, remember that time when they had that briefly with Wolverine, how he looked when he had the mask on? And then ever since, it's like, they didn't really showcase that. That pissed me off because the way he looked was sick. I have to say, he looked cool, but unfortunately, they didn't really whatchamacallit, they didn't follow up with it. So it is what it is. In order to make the lightning actually look like lightning, that means that the background has to be a little bit shaded. So I'm just quickly just adding that. I mean, he's shooting a beam, so it needs some contrast up in there, right? And again, a lot of these stuff that I do here, what I do with styloconvo, or in French, stylo, I say stylo instead of stylo. Styloconvo is that these are sketches, right? So these are like quick sketches. These are not supposed to be full-blown, illustrations. Just sketches with a pen. Let me add this here too. I really like drawing with a ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pens could be tricky though, because they're all the same, but they're not the same. Some of them are dry in terms of the ink, and some of them are too wet. The one that I was drawing in the beginning was too wet, so they're not. I like dry. Some of them are too dry, where I have to switch it out. Go. Just needed to do that for contrast purposes. That way this can come out more. Then I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna make the beam. I always like Cyclops. Was he my favorite? I never really had a favorite in X-Men, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people's favorites are Wolverine. Wolverine's my favorite. I never, like, Wolverine's great. Wasn't my favorite. I like Nightcrawler. He was really cool. I like Magneto a lot, actually. Like, because of his story. Wasn't a fan of Jean. I don't really cared about Jean. Especially with the whole Phoenix thing. I really cared about it. Never really piqued my interest like that. Alright, so let's get this out the way. I'm glad they have Beast. I mean, the voice acting, of course, they can't bring the original voice actors. Some of them passed away, unfortunately. And even if they was alive, your voice over time is not the same when you was a grown adult compared to elderly, right? So now a lot of voice actors have the luxury of still having the same voice that they had back in the days, compared to now. The voice acting of Wolverine, he sounds interesting. I know Steve Bloom is like one of the main Wolverine voice actors. I was hoping it was gonna bring him in it. I mean, the guy's in every single video game that you could think of. Any video game or anime that you watch, 9 out of 10, Steve Bloom is in it. I'm not putting him down. He's an amazing voice actor. But my God, they overuse him. They overuse him to the point where, like, any show I watch, it's like, wait a minute, that's Steve Bloom again. Yo, he's in every single show. He's an amazing voice actor, that's why. So I'm saying that out of respect. Like, the guy is so good. He's so good. I mean, he's literally Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Like, he is Spike. So I was thinking, like, they was gonna use him to play Wolverine. Maybe he just got tired of playing Wolverine. I mean, he could play Wolverine in his sleep, So for all those people out there, it's like, oh, Hugh Jackman. It's like, yeah, but during that time, it was also Steve Bloom. As far as, like, the different IPs that's not live action, it was Steve Bloom. So I was surprised it didn't happen, but it's understandable. probably just too busy playing so many anime villains and anime characters. It's crazy to say that even Invincible, in my opinion, I know some people are like, what? You crazy. But yeah, even Invincible looked better than this. I'm being real, like, Invincible, even though it's like, they have a bit of self-shaded, right? The anatomy structure and the animation is just so good. That's what makes Invincible so good, is the animation. The animation is fantastic. So it makes it look more, it has a realistic feeling to it, even though it's 2D. And this X-Men just feels like it's lacking. It just looks to me too cartoonish. This is why I was hoping for it to look more like grittier. You know, like, yeah, they got the darkness of it, but there's no self-shaded. That's kind of off. That's what makes it look, I know I said unfinished a billion times, but that's what I mean. That's what it's lacking. Invincible, if they would have had the type of production like Invincible, as far as like the animation, some of the lights and shadows, that'll be a hit, man. But then again, the story could be crappy. So, if, like I said, if it has good story, I'm on board. You just gotta wait and see, right? See, I'm just quickly doing this part here. Forgot about the shoulders. So we just gotta wait and see. So far, if I have to give a scale rating of 1 or 0 being trash or 1 being trash, 10 being a masterpiece, it's hard to say because it's a trailer. But trailer rating, I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10, 6.5. It's a little bit above average, but there was nothing spectacular to me other than the scene with Gambit and Wolverine. That was cool. I like that animation. That was sick. So that was really cool. But overall, nothing here was like getting me extremely hyped up for me to see this. So, which is good if it's a good show, because then my expectations are low. So when I watch it, it could build up my expectation. I like that compared to the other way around, where I'm like, yo, I'm so hyped for something, and then when you actually watch it was whack. So hopefully when it comes out, it'll be good. I just hope that if I want it to be good. I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good, so that way they got more of a budget, so then the next season they can make it look even better. Because maybe they're just not confident in this IP for it to do so well, so that's why it just looks low budget. But if it does well and Disney got the money, right? And don't question Disney out like, oh, Elon Musk want to buy Disney and all. Disney still got deep pockets, okay? No matter what, they got deep pockets, especially for animation. So you don't even have to hire actresses and actors in their budget. So if it does well, you know, they should be able to increase their budget so it could look way better than what I'm seeing here. Right, so that's pretty much that. Let me just quickly add some shadow right here. Add a little bit of more structure here rather than it looking a little scratchy. We don't want no scratchy. right? Forget about the scratchy. I could have done more, but it is what it is. So leave your thoughts down below. All right, leave your thoughts down below. Let me add my signature and today's date. I almost put 115. I am losing my mind today, people. I am losing my mind. All right, get close up so you guys can see it. All right. This was fun to make. From this angle as well. All right, so share your thoughts down below. Throw your suggestions of things that you guys want me to draw, things of that nature, or things you guys want me to check out, and I'll draw it anyway in the next video if I'm interested in it. Share that down below. Don't forget to like the video, like Fozzie. Hey, all right, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.